So this is my way I keep my bird apps normally, and I click on Merlin. Got a random bunch of locations over there. Sorry about that. So that's my Merlin homepage. I know it looks different on Android in some aspects, but this is how it looks for me on an Apple phone. It's got normally when you download this app and it's available on your Google Play or Apple App Store, the first thing you would probably want to do is you go into bird packs, right? And here you will see that there's a bunch of bird packs from all across the world. And here's India. And India has the full India pack, which I've installed. It's got Andaman and Nicobars, Northern India, Northeast, Northwest, and South India. And I've installed a few of those. So once you install the relevant bird packs, you actually get all your birds at the tips of your fingertips, so at the tips of your finger, at your fingertips. There you go. And you'll notice, for example, you can select which pack you want. So I can select all my installed birds, which also shows Australian birds, or I can select, this is South India, and then it shows me all the South Indian birds over here. And for those of you who have, can you also see my computer screen?
Nope.
No, not at all. I see. But for those of you who have visited the Explore Species page on the Explore thing, you will notice that there's all these species have a bunch of photos and a bunch of audio, like selected audio, as well as text. All of that is mirrored in the Merlin app. So for example, if I was to click on, let's say, I'm going to pick a random species. Okay, maybe not that random. Let's say orange-headed thrush or Tickle's thrush. Then you will notice then I get a description of that bird. I get a selection of photographs showing different plumages. So there's male, there's a female, female again, there's a chick, and there's a female and a kind of habitat kind of shot, right? I can also listen to the song. Can you hear that?
Yes.
So there's different types of calls. And so there's the ID info, there's the images, there's sounds, and there's the map from the Handbook of the Birds of the World, which shows for most of the species in this case. So it's a pretty nifty little app. You would have noticed I invested in a few Australian field guides when I first came here. And honestly, since the Australian pack was released on Merlin, I haven't ever gone back to the field guides. When I'm on my phone, it's just so easy to get to this instead. It's particularly nice because let's say if I was to, as you can see, all my lists are from home nowadays. When I'm also on the move, let's say I'm going to a new place, I click on, let's say I want to add a Pacific black duck and I want to make sure that that's the bird I'm seeing. I can directly click on Merlin and it takes me to the Merlin page for that bird. So it's really, really cool and it works really, really well. I'm sorry, I don't have an Indian example to give with the checklist, but I'll just finish that off, sorry. Yeah, cool. So that's one aspect of the Merlin app, which is that it's kind of like a mobile field guide with photographs and audio, right? The other very cool feature of the Merlin app is that I can identify species using the Merlin app. One way to do it is to use this Start Bird ID feature. So let me, so let's say we had a green warbler on the list earlier, if you remember. So if I put in Udupi, Karnataka, and I go back to my list date, which was November 28th, I click next. The bird was really tiny, right? I saw a little wobbler in the trees. It was really tiny. What I noticed was that it was green. So I'll click green. I noticed it had whitish wing bars, but I wasn't very sure. So even with this minimum kind of information, let's say I click on white and I click on next. And I saw it up in a tree, right? So in trees or bushes. I click next and then give me the list of the possible birds. It'll populate the list. for what I'm likely to see where I am. So you can see the most likely bird, of course, is common tailor bird. Again, the likelihood of what is of the bird is based on eBird data. So the eBird data obviously shows that that well, common tailor bird is the most common bird in Udupi, but the next best option is a green warbler. Ashwin made a good point. I should probably show how to show likely species by location. So for example, if you come to Tasmania, oh well, I'll just go back to South India actually. So if you go into South India and you go to Udupi, what are the most likely birds you're likely to see, right? So if you go on location, click on Udupi, Karnataka again, and I sort by most likely. I can click done, and it'll show me what are the most likely birds for that area. So the likely birds today being, what date is it? 27th April. In Udupi would be these birds. So for example, red-whiskered bulbul is the most likely. And as I go further down, I get to Indian pitta, which I know a lot of you have stopped listening to, but supposedly still exists in Manipal for a while. And so on and so forth until I get to my least likely birds down here. So it's really, really nifty. If I want to go to Udupi and I want to only look at the birds that I haven't seen and how likely they are, I can hide the birds which are already on my life list. It seems I've seen all of the likely birds. How nice is that? So I'll change that to let's say Victoria. Okay, so there's a lot of birds in Victoria that I haven't seen, and so on and so forth. So really, really cool feature. So I'll just go to that green wobbler again. And I want to go through the green wobbler thing because I discovered something earlier about the green wobbler image I had. So again, I pick with a wobbler. I saw a wobbler. It was a tiny little wobbler in Udupi on November 28th in 2011. It had green tones on it. I saw the white wing bar, and I saw it in the trees. So it'll give me on the basis of likelihood, on the basis of eBird frequencies, what bird I'm most likely to see. So common tailor bird is the default choice, which is correct. I know it wasn't the one. It was a green wobbler. So I select, this is my bird. Now I have a good photograph of this wobbler that we had seen earlier. And I go on photo ID. In this case, I think you have to download. So when you get the Merlin app, there's actually an option called photo ID, and you have to download photo ID separately. Just remember that. I think every now and then there's an option to update photo ID as well. I think when they run the models again and again, you can choose to update the photo ID, and it gives you better results with every update. So with photo ID, I'm gonna take a photo, and you can see my bird here. The photo of the bird. I use this photo. I put it in the box. That should do it. And I click next. I did not see it in Ambleside, which is where I live. I saw it in Udupi. I saw it on November 28th. And I asked it to identify the bird, and it'll give me Blythe Street Warbler, right? Again, it gives me Blythe Street Warbler as the most likely choice. It could also give me booted warbler or something, but the idea being that it's most likely according to the most confident match for Merlin was Blythe Street Warbler, and the other options it turned up with are booted warbler and Sykes Warbler on the basis of my location and the season. But it's pretty confident that it's a Blythe Street Warbler. I click on this is my bird, and I can go on to either explore more about this bird, in which case I can listen to the call to make sure that's what it was. I can just go into ID another bird. And just to give another example, for example, it could be this bird here, which is a bronze strongo. Click next. Again in Udupi. Pity I have to change this again and again. November 28th. And identify. And bronze strongo is the answer. So it's remarkably accurate. There are every now and then, I think some birds it will fail to identify every now and then with the same degree of confidence as the examples I gave. For example, this green wobbler, when I tried, I think came up as the third or the fourth option. But again, it's a difficult image. And I think, so I want to allude to the point here that Merlin trains it's the model on which the algorithm on which Merlin runs. It gets trained by the photos you add to eBird. So very simply put, the more images of a bird on eBird, the more likely Merlin is to be able to identify it later. Regardless of the quality, if you go through most of my photos, you'll realize they're absolute crap, but I do them in the knowledge that I know that Merlin at least will be able to use them and make something of it. So regardless of the quality, regardless of the angle of the bird, regardless, so even this green wobbler, it's not the most ideal angle. I'll stop sharing my phone screen for a second. Actually, hang on a second. Get back to my desktop. So even this green wobbler, for example, or this Blythe Street wobbler here, all of these angles and the low quality of image, they're all equally important. And in the end, they go a long way in training Merlin. And in fact, I would recommend, and maybe Drew or Matt could correct me, is just honestly make use of the 10 MB storage limit. Make use of the fact that you can add 10 images of each species. Just add them, make sure you get as many angles in, make sure you get as many photos in, regardless of the quality, so that it can train the Merlin models better. And that way, the app that you just saw makes better, gives better returns overall, which obviously has a lot of impact on the data quality. So that's the Merlin web page. You can also, if you want to look at what images to, I'm going to paste this to the chat. What images are the target species for India? This is, I believe, this is last updated in March 2020. So this is where the target species for the media in India are. And if you happen to have these, the list of these targets, then it'll be great if you could add them to your checklists and add them to the overall Macaulay library. And they'll be used in training Merlin as well. Cool. Thanks, Drew. So this is the Explore Species page. So in this case, the Blythe Street Wobbler page. And you'll see those same images that you see in Merlin over here. You'll see the identification text below it. And if you click on the listen thing, you'll see the listen tab. You'll see recordings come up for that species under the appropriate category, right? So you have one song and two different types of calls. Of course, the Explore Species page also has the eBird map on it. I can choose a region to show the weekly bar chart, and it also shows you your own observations with the photos and audio and what you've got on ML. And there's just so much. Really, honestly, if you've got time, especially in the lockdown days, I can spend a full holiday just sitting on the Explore Species page or the Explore page on eBird and do nothing else all day. So just have a go, have a play with it.